I think that Putin thinks that America has taken the bullet train to Chumptown.
Yeah, of course he thinks that because it's true. Elect Trump, look like a chump. That should have been Kamala's campaign slogan. Putin is playing Trump like a Russian fiddle, and this latest move is making a joke out of all of us. And it might be funny to watch Trump fall on his face if the people of Ukraine weren't literally paying the price for our 2024 election with their lives. I'm Steve Harness from the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve podcast for Really American Media. And if you really want to stick it to Trump so hard that even Putin would beg for mercy, help us hit 1 million followers here and subscribe now. All right, we'll talk about the newest way that Putin just humiliated Trump in a moment. But let's have a quick reminder of where we're at. Candidate Trump told us repeatedly how easy it would be to end the war in Ukraine in a way that basically challenged Putin to prove that he's not a mega puppet and stretch this whole thing out.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and we'll do it quickly.
Now, of course, the 48.5% of us that voted blue in the last election knew damn well he would never end this war in 24 hours. Now, first of all, international diplomacy is never that easy. MAGA voters might be easy to fool, but foreign governments are not. Secondly, why would Putin want to stop a war that he started just because the orange Cheeto told him to? That would make Putin look weak, and he can obviously stop the war anytime he wants to. But he loves being the center of attention, and he knows that he's got the upper hand since Trump already missed this 24-hour promise and is now desperate to show off the art of the deal.
Here's what I see. Putin has reneged on every promise that he has made to President Trump. His latest proposal is, well, nothing. He wants to keep all the territory that he's taken. He wants to prohibit Ukraine from joining NATO, and he wants America and Europe to stop helping Ukraine.
That would be Republican Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana, proving that even a broken clock is right twice a day because he is spot on. And by the way, it's Putin, not Putin. Whatever. Listen, Putin's idea of making a deal is to get everything he wants and to just be left alone. He's testing limits like a toddler harassing the family pet to see how much abuse it will put up with. Then that little sociopath is going to turn his evil on the rest of the family, which in this rambling analogy would be Europe. Does anyone think that Putin is just going to stop at Ukraine? Much like Trump with his talk of Greenland or Panama Canal that he wants to take over, Putin wants to redraw the map in his image, and he knows Trump is the box of crayons that will let him draw away.
I think he thinks we're afraid of him. He has jacked around President Trump at every turn. He has disrespected our president. I don't think it's going to get any better until we make it clear to Mr. Putin that we are willing to turn him and his country into fish food. And I'm not talking about nuclear weapons or nuclear war. I would start with oil.
Yeah, he's jacked Trump around like a Russian hooker in a hotel room with the KGB filming it all. And it's going to screw all of us. Yet just like that hidden camera in that hotel room, Trump can't see it. And he actually thinks he's the one in charge here.
We're putting a lot of pressure on Russia, and Russia knows that, and some people that are close to it know, or he wouldn't be talking right now. The Prime Minister understands that better than anybody. He wouldn't be talking right now. He's talking, and we're putting a lot of pressure. I think he wants to make a deal. We're going to find out very soon, but it takes two to tango. And you have to have Ukraine want to make a deal too, and they're being hit very hard. And I do believe they want to make a deal.
Now, out of curiosity, Mr. Art of the Deal, what do you think a deal would look like to Putin? What has Russia offered to compromise on? What are they going to give up?
What concessions has Russia offered up thus far to get to the point where you're closer to peace?
Stopping the war, taking the whole country. Pretty big concession.
And there you have it. He thinks Russia not just taking all of Ukraine is some sort of a compromise. That would be like telling a rape victim, well, sure, he got to have his way with you, but wasn't it so nice of him to compromise by stopping shy of just murdering you? That only looks like compromise if you're a weak leader who isn't capable of getting anything more. Which leads us to where we're at today. Trump told us last week that a peace deal was imminent. So Putin dumped all over that with one of his most brutal attacks on Ukraine last Thursday, which resulted in Trump telling him to stop. And not on a phone call with Putin. He did it in a tweet, like a high school kid begging the bully to let him keep his lunch money. And to show Trump how pathetic his begging is, Putin responded last night by sending 149 drones into Ukraine for another massive attack that would be the opposite of stop, the opposite of what one would do when they want to make a deal. And why does Putin think he can do this? What makes him feel so emboldened?
Because Donald Trump is being played exactly the way in which anyone who understands how Vladimir Putin works knows that he would play Donald Trump. He's drawing this out. He knows that time is on his side. Donald Trump did not solve this on day one like he promised to do and like we all knew that he wouldn't. And he's treating one of our biggest partners, Ukraine, who's the victim here, as just another belligerent party. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, and the constant tirades against Zelensky, the constant tirades against the Ukrainians only undermines the prospect for peace.
Yeah, that's Congressman Jason Crow out of Colorado, and he can see the obviousness of the truth. And I'm sure any MAGA types watching this will just think that he's part of the liberal cabal and he can't be trusted. So Trump has said many times that he only hires the best people. So what does one of his former best people have to say about all of this?
True. I think Putin, KGB agent that he used to be, sees Trump as an easy mark. And he's been manipulating him very successfully since the election. And I think his task now, from Putin's point of view, is to keep the manipulation going. Trump hasn't had a good relationship with Zelensky since the famous perfect phone call in the summer of 2019 that led to the first impeachment. And I think that remains the case. So right now, the calculus, I think, tilts very heavily in Russia's favor for reasons that don't help American national security at all.
And again, this might all be laughable if it wasn't deadly serious. Keyword there, deadly. All of these people I played for you see that Trump is getting played and it's making him look bad. And eventually Trump is going to see that too. And that is what should keep all of us up at night. Marco Rubio recently outlined the best case scenario at this point.
If it's not possible, if we're so far apart that this is not going to happen, then I think the president's probably at a point where he's going to say, well, we're done.
Yeah, us walking away and letting Ukraine get ravaged is now the best case scenario because the alternative is much worse. Trump's ego and narcissism won't let him look weak on the world stage. And when sanctions and tariffs don't work, because they won't, the only option left is World War III. And that's not hyperbole. President Bone Spurs will get out his army toys and try to show the world he's a big boy by attacking Russia, which will destabilize the entire world, markets will crash, lives will be lost, and that might be the only thing that Trump can actually get done in 24 hours. And since Putin is also a narcissist that can't look weak, nuclear weapons will enter the conversation and maybe enter your backyard. How do we stop that? We do not. Only the Congress and Senate can rein him in, but they're only going to do that if they know they're going to lose their next election. And this is the chance for us liberals to reach across the aisle to Republicans like Kennedy and Bolton that are actually calling Trump out. One lone wolf cannot do this. It's got to be the whole pack getting vocal, fighting for our survival. So don't tune out. Comment, share, stay angry, and get vocal. I'm Steve Harness for the Vocal Minority Podcast for Really American Media.